Hello, beloved ones. It is wonderful to be here with you right now in this moment of beauty and truth and connection. Me to you and you to me. One heart, one breath, one life. Today I would like to talk to you about something that is very prevalent with human beings, and that is anxiety. Someone had asked for me to speak on this subject, and I'm happy to do so because anxiety is a feeling, it is an experience that is very corrosive, it is very destructive, and it can generate enormous amounts of pain, depending on the level at which you experience anxiety. So I'd like to offer some possible things for you to think about, actions you can take to relieve your anxiety, all right? Now, first, let me just say that I recognize that anxiety is just a part of life. There will always be times where you feel anxious. But for some people, and maybe you are one of them, anxiety tends to be an ongoing problem. Either it can be a low-grade type of anxiety, or it can be a very intense level of anxiety. So if you suffer from very intense ongoing anxiety, please seek help from a medical professional so that you are well cared for. But what I'm going to offer can be used in conjunction with whatever help you are getting from practitioners, doctors, healers that you trust and that you are working with. So, anxiety is a reaction, right? It is not the root of the problem. It is a reaction to how you perceive life, particularly your own life. Anxiety is a result of fears that have gotten out of hand, fears that you have blown out of proportion, fears that have taken over your thought processes and then triggered emotions that tend to feed your anxiety. So yes, we're talking about anxiety, but more importantly, it's essential that you look at your fears, all right? If you take the time to write about your anxiety, how it feels in your body, your mind, what you intuitively feel that it's doing to your being. Anxiety is one of those great distractions. It is something to really focus on, to start to believe that the anxiety is the problem, when in fact it is just a reaction to the problem itself. So what I ask you to do in working with your anxiety is to go below the anxiety, to feel what is underneath the anxiety. Something inside of you is feeding the anxiety. So think of it in those terms. Not that you're doing something wrong or that you are broken and cannot be lifted up. No. Stay out of that mindset, beloved one. because you are not broken and you do not require fixing. What you do require is love and attention. You require consciousness. You require a commitment to show up for yourself. So, in showing up for yourself, it's about going beneath the anxiety. What is feeding? What thoughts, what actions, what behaviors do you continually practice that feeds your anxiety? All right? So one of the greatest things that triggers or causes, feeds anxiety is the fear that you are not going to get what you need, or the people around you, those that you love, are not going to get what they need. So the first thing that I would ask you to do is to try to focus on the fears about yourself first, all right? It's more difficult to work with fears about other people or other events, things that are happening out in the world, because you are not in control of those things. So that can be a cycle that is hard to break. But with yourself, you are in control of your reactions, your behaviors, even if you go deep enough, your thoughts. So write down what is feeding your anxiety, all your behaviors. Now, this is important. Don't focus on what you perceive is not coming to you, or what others are doing or saying to you or not giving to you. Try to keep other people out of it for now and just focus on your behaviors, your thought patterns, your actions and your reactions, all right? Once you have that more identified, then you start with small things. Look for ways that you can shift very, very small things. Meaning, if it causes you anxiety when you read about all the news that is happening, you read it on the internet, you watch news programs, you listen to it on the television, on the computer, on all your different devices, where you are being saturated over and over with what can possibly be negative or disturbing energy or news. If this is one of your habits, one of your actions, and the reaction to that behavior is anxiety, then you want to think about each day saying, I'm going to limit the amount of time that I allow myself to read about or watch news programs. So instead of doing little bits all throughout the day and keeping that energy going and going and going, you tell yourself, I get this amount of time, and with these sources, choose sources that provide information in a way that is not fear-based or sensationalized or pointing fingers or high levels of intensity. Find sources that feel calmer, that feel more broad or inclusive of many different viewpoints, and limit your ability, your time in connecting with those sources. So that's only one example. But your behavior is critical here, beloved. There are things you're doing that are feeding your anxiety. You have to track them down and find each one and look for small ways. Please, please do not be in black or white. Big swings, big giant changes all at once. I'm not going to listen to the news or watch the news ever again. Or for 6 months, I'm going to absolutely not come in contact with any kind of news program. No. Start small, because that can trigger a much bigger anxiety reaction. Be kind, be gentle, but do look for ways that you can start to trim down all the different ways you're feeding your anxiety. Stepping back from things, from people, creating a little space, pausing. These are all ways that you start to look at your primary involvement with the energy of anxiety. It's a great distraction from the deeper issues that are troubling you. And that's where you need to go. You cannot avoid yourself. You can try, and sometimes you succeed with things like anxiety, but eventually, when the anxiety becomes so exhausting and so overwhelming, even if it's at a low level, but it's all the time, all the time, all the time, then recognize that it's time to focus on what's beneath. There are certain foods that feed anxiety. Alcohol, recreational drugs can feed anxiety. There are so many ways to feed anxiety. Take your time and discover what yours are. And the second thing that I would encourage you to do is to create a practice of deep breathing. It sounds very simple, and I have mentioned this before in other videos, but I cannot stress how extraordinary the results can be from deep breathing. You can do it anywhere, at any time. It is the ultimate portable spiritual tool. But it's not just a spiritual tool, it is a tool for living. Because when you're anxious, it's shallow breath, sometimes even panting. If the anxiety is very bad, you start to sweat, the heart is pounding. Slow, deep breaths. You can start the process by a big 2 or 3 big breaths. Just imagine that you're letting all this anxiety and energy go. It's trapped energy in your body, in your essence. And then after a few big breaths, settle into slow, deep breaths. If you're at work, you can just stop whatever you're doing, sit at your desk, and take a few minutes to breathe. It is a wonderful practice to plan throughout the whole day. You can get an app for your phone. There are wonderful applications there to help you to plan your next deep breathing session. You can plan how long it lasts, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. You can plan how long the inhalation and the exhalation is, so that you create a dynamic structure that you're utilizing 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. that will help you decompress, that will help you to learn what it feels like in the body without anxiety. So these are the 2 tools that I'm encouraging you to use. They are simple. The writing and the discovery is a little harder, maybe scary. What will you find? What's underneath the anxiety? And what do I do when I find it? You love it. Whatever fear, whatever is feeding your anxiety, you love it. You have compassion for it. And you start to change it little by little. Tiny shave here, little trim there, small transition there. And you breathe. You breathe deeply throughout your day. And I promise you, you will begin to have relief from your anxiety. Call upon me. Let me love you and support you as you choose to let go of the distraction of anxiety. Namaste. Hi, it's Danielle, creator and founder of Beloved Publications, your home of Mother Mary's teachings as they're channeled through me. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel and leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. If you're interested in more of Mother's teachings, please visit our website, www.belovedpublications.com. And there you'll find lots of great ways of connecting with Mother. And if you want to join our community, you get an awesome free mini course on preparing for and connecting with your spirit guides. You will love it. So I hope to see you there soon. Thanks so much.